looking for this golden mineral right here. Now, it looks a lot like gold, but it is not gold. This is a mineral called chalcopyrite. Chalcopyrite is made of iron, sulfur, and of course, copper. It is a very concentrated form of copper, and this was the stuff that we were looking for here at Britannia. So way back in the day, before 1904, before this mine officially opened, way back in 1888, a very adventurous man by the name of Dr. Forbes was exploring the summit of Mount Shear, the top of the mountain we are inside right now, looking for precious metals, and he discovered some of this copper right on the top. Now, after a lot of time, and a lot of investment, and a lot of paperwork, eventually we had a mining operation here at Britannia, officially opening our doors in 1904, 121 years ago. Now, mining is tedious, dangerous, difficult work. You do not want to be guessing which direction to go. Just because there is metal on the surface of the rock, it does not mean there is more on the other side. We need some specialized tools to help us better understand what is going on in this mountain, and specifically to figure out where the copper is. Now, this drill right here, it solved that problem for us. This drill is not like my other drills. This drill had a very important job, and the name of this drill, it is the diamond drill. Take a look at all those sparkles, folks. Those are all little diamonds. Now, we use diamonds in this drill bit because diamonds are incredibly hard, and this drill needed to stay incredibly sharp for an incredibly long time. This drill's job, it was to collect these right here. This is called a core sample. Mine is very small. It is a sample of a sample. These core samples here at Britannia, they would be over 100 meters long. This is solid rock taken out of the mountain, and this is how we are able to locate the copper. So the way the diamond drill works, you take these big heavy metal rods, you continuously feed them through the drill, one after another, extracting these very long core samples. You can see one sticking out of the tip right here. Now, after we collect our core samples, they go to the assay lab, where some highly educated, highly paid individuals, big use of testing, read along the rock essentially to determine, yes, there is copper, let's go this way, or no, there is no copper, let's not go that way. Now, once we have determined which direction to work, it is time to begin mining. Now, simply put, mining is a three-step process. The first step is drilling. Not this kind of drilling. This is exploration. So we have figured out where the copper is, and now we drill. When this mine first opened, these were the drills given to the workers. This is very appropriately named the hand drill. The way the hand drill works, in fact, folks, it kind of works just like this. You take your drill steel, you stick it against the rock, you take your hammer, you probably guessed it right, 1, 2, turn all day long. When the hole is deep enough, you are working with a partner. One man is rotating, while another is throwing a hammer at it. Now, folks, I am very proud to report that this hole right here, 5 inches deep. I have been working on this hole for almost 2 years. Now, I don't do this all day long, but this gives you an idea of just how inefficient this is. This is bad for business. We are not getting very far into the mountain. This is also bad for the workers. It is tedious, exhausting work. I don't know what you folks do for a living, but hammering this into a wall for 60 hours a week is not my idea of a good career. Thankfully, we did not use these for very long. This mine opened in 1904. This is the beginning of the 20th century. Technology is changing rapidly at this time in history, and it is not long after the mine opens that we receive these drills right here. Now, this is called a piston, and as you can imagine, it is a lot more powerful. This was an efficient piece of equipment that was good for business. Unfortunately, it was not good for the workers. This was a dangerous piece of equipment. This drill weighs 350 pounds. You would have one man supporting each leg just like this, while one operates the mechanism of the drill. There is no suspension in these legs. This drill was prone to collapse, and many workers got injured as a result. This drill is also incredibly loud. It was introduced here at the mine in 1911. Company issued hearing protection was not given to the workers until the 1950s. So they had to make do with whatever they could. Pieces of cotton, pieces of fabric. Hearing loss, as a result, was the #1 most widespread health issue. Now, even more serious than that, when this drill was pounding into the rock, it would create a lot of dust. The workers would inhale this dust and develop a condition that we now know as silicosis. Now we got a few youngsters in the crowd. I am not going to go into too many details, but folks, if you want to learn all about this morbid information, we will have lots of time to talk later on. But it was for all of those reasons that the workers did not call this a piston drill. They had a nickname for it. All right.
Yan na yung jackhammer. Paano gamitin? Mga mining.
All right, everyone, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Labas na tayo. Another shop. Oh, another shop tayo. Oh, kung miner ka dito, daan mo lang dito.
Oh, there you go.
Nasa ilalim na tayo ng bundok. Yan. Next process. Let's go.
And about 40 tons of material. Now the next step is to remove this material. This step is called mucking. We refer to this material as muck, and it is the job of the mucker to remove the muck. Mucking was the lowest paying job here at the mine, and it was one of the most physically challenging, because when this mine first opened, here's your tool.
Shovel.
Shovel? Did you say shovel?
Yeah.
Sir, this is obviously not a shovel. This is clearly a muck stick. There is no difference between a muck stick and a shovel, folks. Thanks for making it easy. So the poor, unfortunate mucker, he gets off the train and he begins to scoop the muck over his head into these ore carts all day long. It was expected for one worker to move between 16 to 20 tons of ore per shift. This ore cart right here is 1.5 tons. So on a slow day, you're filling this up just over 10 tons. I cannot overstate how undesirable this job is. I have read stories of people taking the boat here from Vancouver, doing job training, and then immediately taking the boat back to Vancouver. This job paid $3 a day in 1921. But good news, we retired the muck stick, and we received these machines right here. Now folks, you're not gonna believe it. I'm a mucker. That's a muck stick. That's a pile of muck. And this machine right here is a muck machine. This muck machine is way more fun to use than the muck stick. It can move 16 tons of ore in 1 hour.
Yan, kinukuha yung ore na minerals.
Those are our 3 steps, everyone. Drilling, blasting, mucking. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and each time we are clearing just 10 feet of tunnel space. When this mine closed in 1974, we had created over 240 kilometers of tunnel inside this town. That is 160 miles. We extracted 1.3 billion pounds of refined copper, and even more material than that, and we had to move out of the way in order to access the copper. Even with all this amazing technology, it is still tedious, dangerous, and difficult work. Now speaking of difficult, I don't know if you did.
Yan ang exit ng tunnel. This guy is amazing.
Over here until the late 1950s. We were on our own, so we had to use these whistles as a way to muster the community together to deal with things like fires or natural disasters, which unfortunately were quite common. So in the event of an emergency, we would blow the whistle 3 times. We all made it out safe today. We are going to blow the whistle once. There were 3 shifts during the day. There was an 8 a.m., 4 p.m., and a midnight shift. The whistle was not blown at midnight, and you are all going to find out why right now. This is our 3rd loud noise, everyone, and it is a good one. So make sure you cover your ears. Here we go. All right, folks. 3, 2, 1.
Like a train. Yeah, we survived. Makalabas din tayo dyan sa loob ng mining. What a nice experience. Tayo sa Mill No.3 kung saan pre-na-process yung kuha nilang copper.
Welcome to Mill No.3. This building is 102 years old. It is a National Historic Site and was the heart of the operation. We have learned how to get the ore out of the mountain. That is the rock that contains the copper. It is inside this building. We get the copper itself out of the ore. We mill down that ore, we crush all the rock until we are able to retrieve the copper. This photograph was taken in 1922 while this building was under construction. From design to completion, it took 18 months. It cost $1 million. They had to build it very quickly, because like I said, poor Mill No.2 did not have what it takes, and it burned down in a fire. So now we have Mill No.3. Mill No.3 is a gravity-fed concentrator. What that means is the ore gets dropped off at the very top of the building. When you're standing outside, you can still see those tracks going into the top level. It then travels all 80 meters, each of these levels with massive pieces of equipment to assist in the process. So the idea is it starts at the top, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Then we get to those lower levels and we can separate the copper from the material that we do not want. The copper concentrate then goes off to the pier, onto the ships, and away to the smelters. We are going to head inside and watch Boom. Boom is going to do a great job of explaining how this building works. In the meantime, you are going to have a couple minutes to head up on our platforms, take some photos, take in the space, and most importantly, folks, if there is any aspect of this mine's history that I have not talked about, any subject you would like me to discuss, feel free to approach, and I will do my best to answer any questions that you have. I'm just going to poke my head in and make sure the mill is empty, and then we're going to head inside. We're going right up there, everyone.
Okay. Ito na yung loob ng ito ng pinaka-processing.
You're going to be an expert. In 20 minutes, you're going to be able to tell everybody what this place is.
On. Ito na yung platform.
What is this place?
Crazy. Yeah. Parang parang gymnasium. Oh yeah. Dito pina-process yung copper.
Plus shows Percy Jackson season 2, haven't even seen it yet. Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix season 2, haven't even seen it yet. A couple of the Descendants movies were filmed here, and of course, The Last of Us season 2 was filmed right here inside Mill No.3. This was a big deal. 1923. So we had our 100-year anniversary a couple of years ago. Exhibit where we
Yan, doon conveyor nila. Jiggy, yun na? Sorry. Yan. Ay, yung mga
These panels.
So dusty. Siyempre nga
These are all original.
Yan. The mill will be in operation soon. Tingnan natin. Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you know how many panes of glass there are up there? 14,460. I'm just glad this is the only one I have to keep clean. They let a lot of light into this place, which was great for the electricity bill, but they also let a lot of light out. And as the mill worked through the night, it was a beacon that lit up the waters of Howe Sound, and it could be heard for miles around. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Welcome to Britannia, once one of the largest copper mines in the world, and to Mill No.3, which in its day was among the most efficient and advanced copper concentrators. This is why this place was built. All 20 stories of it. To liberate the minerals locked inside massive chunks of ore, just like that. Yeah, one thing. I'm so sorry you had to see this. We've got a much bigger rock on order. This is ore. It's rock made up mostly of minerals we don't want, but one in particular we do, chalcopyrite, because it contains copper. And if they found a few other valuable minerals in there, well, nobody was complaining. But it was copper that the miners were after, because it was here in such abundance. And because copper conducts electricity better than any other metal, except silver. If electricity is the modern world's lifeblood, then copper serves as its veins and arteries. Without it... sorry. Well, I guess you get the point. In its day, this mill ranked among the best at coaxing those copper minerals out of the rock, and that efficiency was built right into the design of this building. Each step in the concentration process was located one level below step 4, so that gravity was always helping to move the heavy ore along. And it took a lot of ore to get a little copper. But over the years, the engineers of Britannia got better and better at it. By the time the mill closed, they were extracting 97% of all the copper in the ore. In all, Britannia produced 1.3 billion pounds of refined copper. That's the same weight as 43,000 school buses. That's empty school buses. So, how did they do it? How did they actually get the copper from the rock? I thought you'd never ask. Let me show you. Okay. So you can't see me from where you're sitting, but I'm in the uppermost level of the mill. The milling process, but workers right in, that was
Yan na yung
took 2 days.
Conveyor. Punta sa taas.
It was 3 tons.
There's only
15 tons in a full load. That's it, right free. Anything in its path, like right where you're sitting now. Well, fortunately, that never happened.
then come back.
Okay, good. Anyway, there was plenty of other things going on here. For one, they were always repairing equipment or installing something new to improve the concentrating process. Sometimes a particularly stubborn boulder would get caught in one of the receiving bins and have to be cleared before the next train arrived. And up there, the ship foreman would be told when they needed to deal with it, with a well-placed stick of dynamite. And once in a while, that even blew out the upper row of windows. Fire in the hole! Okay, that's got it. And here comes the ore tray. Let's start the conveyor belts. And now for the jaw crusher. And the cone crushers. Now for the ball mill. On to the flotation tank. Dewatering.
Speaker, tingin natin.
Everybody okay? How about we just keep that last part between us? Okay? Okay. So, on November 1st, 1974, they shut down Britannia Mine and Mill No.3 fell silent. Gone too was the beacon that had shone each night over Howe Sound. For the community that had always been there to serve the mine, the darkness and silence must have been strangely disquieting. You know what? I'm going to leave you with the words of a longtime Britannia resident who put it much better than I ever could.
Can I tell you the first time it really struck me that this place was gone? They decided in '74 to shut it down because it was costing too much to get the ore out and it wasn't profitable. One day I went to Scottish grocery shopping, and when I came back, the mill, the concentrator.
Bye. See you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe for the vlog.